trusting Him. He knows what, and He's not going to hurt us. He wants to help us.
Yeah.
You know, He has great plans for you. Plans are not to hurt you.
Yeah.
Plans to make you more holier and to live a better life. And sometimes we just don't get that. Did I make myself clear?
No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, when you talk about faith, it's trusting God that He is always good and He's always faithful.
Yeah.
And I can trust that no matter what He leads me through, I can trust that He knows what He's doing.
And he sees everything at once. And that's what my thing was about. You know, normally I'm sitting on that plane or I'm just here. I can't see anything what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. There might be somebody breaking in here and shoot us.
That's right.
You know? But He already knows everything because He sees everything. And I kind of got that as I got higher. Well, yeah, I can see a lot more than what I used to, what I'm used to. So, but now that I can't see what's going on, but just what's in my view, but God sees everything else, so that's why I need to trust Him.
Well, and that's something that piece, it's because it can be almost talking about two different things that it applies to. It can definitely be in the situations that are hard, that you're going through a challenging time, you're going through tough things, and it's not necessarily anything that's you've caused or anything that you can be your own mistakes. The 90% of the sins that have been your fault, but it can also be the 10% of your sins that were not your fault that can happen.
People get sick.
Yeah.
Spouses get sick.
Right.
Do that.
Right. But I think that this is probably going to go down as the worst analogy I've ever used on the show, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I want to paint this as like a guardrail of even in the worst possible scenario you might be, not the worst scenario, but even at the most extreme harsh view of God you might have, I think this might be maybe the guardrail on that end. Did you guys ever watch the movie? If not, you'll know what I'm talking about anyway. They made a movie about Bear Bryant, the football coach at Alabama, called The Junction Boys, came on ESPN.
And I know the name, but I don't know if I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
It was an ESPN documentary thing they did on it where it kind of documents what a mean coach he was. They hated him. They hated him and everything he did. And it was at the end of camp, about half the kids quit, and it was brutal. And it looks, it wouldn't fly today. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But it fast forward to the very end of the movie, they're doing like a 20-year reunion of that first, because at that time he was a pretty new coach. And he wasn't at Alabama and hadn't won all the national championships yet. But all those kids from that first team at Texas A&M were getting together for this reunion, and they were also thankful for what they had learned through that. Yep. Now, I'm not saying that Bear Bryant should be compared to God in any way, and I'm not trying to say that it's always got to be that view. But even at the worst viewpoint that you might have of God, sometimes, He's going to put there are going to be some situations where people go through some really, really hard times because that's just what He's got to do to grow.
That's right.
There's other times that He's going to not have to do that. There's 100 different ways, or a million different ways that He can work these plans together and do what He needs to do. But sometimes it is going to be that hard growth that you're going to go through.
No, I think that's a perfect illustration because think about it right now. I ran into Coach for Fuquay High School yesterday. I was just out and about in one of the stores and ran into him. We just started talking, and he was just talking about the heat. And he said, "Man, I got those boys out there doing push-ups and jumping jacks and runs and sprints and running the offense." Nobody likes that August 1st through August 8th because it's 118 degrees. You're doing all them exercises. You're sweating. You're more than likely you're probably not in the best of shape. You might be in decent shape, but all that running and you get done. But you do it so that come August 23rd when they kick that ball off, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
And so conditioning and discipline and everything else, it ain't easy. But if you're gonna, and I always use this to talk to the boys, you're gonna shine on Friday night. You got to do the work from the end of the football season to the beginning of the next because it's in the weight room. It's in the, all the watching film. If you're going to shine on Friday night, you got to do the work before. And that's the same thing. If you're going to live for the Lord, there are going to be some things that might not be so easy.
And it's not, I think the trap that I fell into for a long time was thinking that was a cost of being a Christian, is that you had to suffer things that other people didn't have to suffer. And it shouldn't be seen that way, I don't think, because what he's doing, even those difficult things, it's not just to pay your dues. It's not just so you can earn your Christian card and do your.
So you can get your jersey.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's to develop something in you, and you may not know what that is. And I know when I was playing football, those first, second, fifth days of practice, I hated my coaches.
Yeah,
and
can't even walk the next day.
But there's a particular scene from Junction Boys, and this was really, I don't want to leave this out because this was really an important part of this analogy to me. There's a scene towards the end of that movie. If I can find it on YouTube, I'll insert it in here somewhere. But there's a particular scene at the end of that movie where they're at the end of camp and they finally got their survivors of who's going to be the team or whatever. So it's a little bit of a relief, I guess. But there's a particular line here where he kind of thanks them for their effort and all that kind of stuff. He said, but listen, we are never going to stop working. And I've heard that from God, it feels like a little bit. Like that loving side that I maybe was missing for a long time, I feel the love, but there's love in that work, too, that, hey, just because I'm saying, okay, good, like in that case, he's saying, hey, I understand camp was hard, but we're here and now we're going to move on to the season. We're going to get better. But don't think that just because I'm being nice today that this is going to be it.
Or don't get comfortable.
Right. Well, I mean, in Bear Bryant's case, he was straight up saying, don't think because I'm nice today that it's the rest of the season. We're never going to quit working. Right. But it's the same thing with God. Okay, yes, you've seen that I do things for good and you've seen that things work out and all that kind of stuff, but don't think that means we're done working.
And it's awesome.
and then we're always...
all rainbows.
That's right. And it's
unicorns.
But as you hear that and you feel that, I swear, it's the strangest thing to say. You can start to embrace the challenges a little bit, but no, when there's a difference when I know I've done something to cause it. Now that's that's a little bit different. Still, he's going to do something good with it, and there's forgiveness and grace. But a lot of times, it's still just okay. I'm not real happy with what we're doing right this second, but it's just part of the workout plan. It's part of what he's doing.
Trust the program.
Yeah.